Today's lesson is pricing that works like a charm. Hi everybody, my name is Roger.
And my name is Helen.
And today we're talking about something called pricing, which is what you do when you want to tell people how much your item costs, when you want to sell it. And there are different strategies that you can use to get people to buy your product when they may not necessarily want to.
That's true. Pricing or setting the price for a particular product is very important because it can determine whether that product will sell well or not. If you price it too high, then the product might be too expensive and people won't want to buy it. If you price it too low, then people might think, well, this product is probably very cheap. It's going to break soon as I buy it, and I don't want to buy it. So it's important to find the right price or to know how to price something. And when it's done well, it can work like a charm.
Indeed, then that means it's quite effective. If something works like a charm, it's quite effective. And let's find out what these strategies are. Let's begin our lesson by reading the first part, and then we'll come back to discuss it.
Pricing that works like a charm. Whether they're online or on the high street, almost all businesses use pricing strategies in an effort to encourage customers to make a purchase. Some, for example, tempt customers with buy one, get one free deals. Others add per-customer limits to items, tricking shoppers into thinking that there's a limited supply or that the items are in great demand.
So first, let's look at businesses that use pricing strategies. Whether they're online or on the high street, almost all businesses use pricing strategies in an effort to encourage customers to make a purchase. So it doesn't matter where the business is. It could be an online store, an online company, or it could be on the high street. A high street is a street that has a lot of stores. It's a shopping area or a street located downtown in a very crowded and lively area where people go on weekends to shop and to dine. That would be the high street of a particular city.
Yep, indeed, and usually high street shopping involves expensive boutiques and places like that. So we're talking about places where you can buy things online or in high street stores, fancy department stores, or in busy downtown shopping areas. So whether it's in that place or the other place, all businesses will use pricing strategies in an effort to encourage customers to make a purchase. That's what it's all about. If you're a store trying to sell things, you want to sell those things so that you can make some money, so that you can make a profit. But you need to attract customers and you need to encourage them to make a purchase. To make a purchase, of course, is to buy something. And of course, they use different strategies or different plans to get you to do that very thing.
Right. Here's one common pricing strategy. Some, for example, tempt customers with buy one, get one free deals. So with this strategy, you're telling customers if you buy this product, then we'll give you a second one for free. So basically, it's the same as offering a product at half the price, half the usual price, but you have to buy two of them.
Exactly. And of course, in Chinese, that's mai yi song yi, and you hear that quite often. And it's a special deal, and you kind of think, wow, gee, I could get two for the price of one. Isn't that a deal? You don't stop to ask yourself, but do I really need that thing? Because I'm still buying something. I'm still giving them my money. And maybe it's better to not buy anything at all, but still they're trying to get you to buy that thing. And that is one strategy. Buy one, get one free, or also to offer discounts and things like that. Others add per customer limits to items, tricking shoppers into thinking that there's a limited supply or that the items are in great demand. So yes, indeed, you might go to a store and they'll tell you, hey, this item is limited, okay? We can only sell certain numbers of these products. This product will only go to the first 100 customers. After that, will be sold out. You won't be able to buy this again. So yes, indeed, it kind of gives you the idea that, maybe this item is actually pretty cool. It's in demand. So yes, indeed, that strategy will trick you into thinking that there's a limited supply. So here we've got the phrase to trick you into doing something, which means they try to use some kind of plan to get you to do something, but they're tricking you. They're actually using a strategy that makes you do something that you wouldn't normally do.
So in this particular case, people are led to believe that there is a limited number of these items, so they must act quick and buy this item because otherwise it might run out. But in reality, there are actually many of these items probably stocked away in some warehouse, but the consumers don't know about it. And this is just one strategy, as there are many other strategies for pricing to entice consumers to buy products.
Okay, so that's the first strategy there. Let's move on now to the second part and talk about some other strategies that sellers use to get us to buy things.
The most common psychological trick used by businesses is charm pricing, which refers to the practice of ending a price with a 9 or 99 to make an item seem significantly cheaper than it really is. Studies show that if a product is priced at, say, $2.99 instead of $3, it will sell better, even though the difference in price is negligible. This phenomenon is caused by something called the left-digit bias. Since people read from left to right, they tend to glance at the leftmost digit and evaluate the price using that number. Put simply, your brain unconsciously rounds $2.99 down to $2 instead of up to $3.
大家好，第二部分我们看到形容词 negligible， 表示微不足道的或是可忽略不计的。例如 The difference in weight is negligible at 0.02 grams. 0.02公克的重量差异是微不足道的。或是 There is only a negligible difference among the cars in the showroom. 那些在展示间的车子只有微小的差异。另外补充它的反义形容词 considerable. C-O-N-S-I-D-E-R-A-B-L-E considerable. 意思是相当多的或是可观的。举例来说 Construction crews made considerable progress on the office building. 工程团队在那栋办公大楼的施工有大幅进展。再来我们看到副词 unconsciously， 意思是未意识到的或是下意识的。例如 I unconsciously smiled when I heard my mother singing. 当我听到我妈妈唱歌时，我不自觉地笑了。或是 Tina unconsciously plays with her hair whenever she talks to people. Tina 和别人讲话时会下意识地玩她的头发。另外补充这个字的相关单字 conscious, C-O-N-S-C-I-O-U-S, conscious. 这个字是形容词，指意识到的、察觉到的，或是关注、注意的。我们可以说 Being more safety conscious can help us avoid accidents. 有多点安全意识有助于我们避免意外。或者 Keith was conscious about his weight, so he decided to go to the gym. Keith 注意到自己的体重，所以他决定要上健身房。
The most common psychological trick used by businesses is charm pricing, which refers to the practice of ending a price with a 9 or 99 to make an item seem significantly cheaper than it really is. So we've all probably come across prices for items that end in 9 or 99. Something, for instance, costs 299 NT dollars instead of 300 NT dollars. Now, this is a common psychological trick. Psychological here refers to something that involves or affects your mind rather than, for instance, your body, your physical health. You might talk about your psychological health. You could say, for instance, that somebody suffers from psychological problems. Here, we're talking about a psychological trick, a trick that is used to make people think or behave in a certain way, and this trick can be called charm pricing. And it's basically used to make people think that something is cheaper than it actually is just because the price ends in a 9 or a 99.
Interesting. So this particular strategy is called charm pricing. I've seen this all my life. Of course, in the United States, you see lots of prices that are $2.99 or $3.99, even though you know, oh, that's basically $3 or $4. But still, it sounds like it's cheaper. And I guess they're trying to charm you. So that goes back to the title there, pricing that works like a charm. And this is charm pricing. You could describe a person as being charming. Oh, I just met Mr. Wilson. He's quite charming. He's a gentleman. He knows how to talk to people in a nice way. And, of course, people like him as a result. So this is charm pricing. You look at the price and you're attracted to it. Wow, that is such a charming price. I think I'll go ahead and buy that thing, even though I don't need it.
So studies show that if a product is priced at, say, $2.99 instead of $3, it will sell better even though the difference in pricing is negligible. So here the word negligible means very small or very unimportant. And indeed, the difference between $2.99 and $3 is negligible because we are talking about the difference of only 1 cent. However, studies show that if a product is priced 1 cent lower and the price ends in a 99 cents, then it will sell better even though there is only a 1 cent difference, even though this price is negligible.
It's only 1 cent difference, but yes, indeed, that still sounds cheaper, $2.99 instead of $3. So, of course, it's going to sell better, and I'm sure there are studies and research to back that up. Moving on here, it says this phenomenon is caused by something called the left digit bias. So here we've got the word bias, which means you stress something, you think that thing is more important for some particular reason. You might have a bias for people of your own age group, for example. You help them out more than you would, say, younger people or older people. You might be biased based on your ethnicity, on your race, or your gender. And in this particular case, a bias means you tend to think of something instead of something else. So basically, it means you tend to look at that left digit, the number farthest to the left, and you tend to emphasize that one and not so much the others to the right.
Yes, and that's because of the way we read. Since people read from left to right, they tend to glance at the leftmost digit and evaluate the price using that number. So it is true in English we read from left to right. And since we are reading, let's say, the number $2.99 from left to right, then we will glance at the number 2, which is the leftmost digit. Leftmost means it is at a position that is most to the left. And digit refers to a written number. So any number between 0 and 9 is a digit. So in the case of the price $2.99, we focus on the $2. And we use that to evaluate the price. And to evaluate means to think carefully about something before you make a decision about it. So if something costs $2.99, we focus on, it's only $2 and something. And that doesn't sound so expensive, but in reality, it's really close to $3, but we tend not to think about that.
Yep, and if you're using mathematics or statistics, we have this phenomenon of rounding numbers up or rounding them down. So, for example, if you have a price of, say, 56 NT dollars, well, in your mind, you might round it up to 60 NT dollars. Whereas if you have the price of 54 NT dollars, well, you might round it down to 50 NT dollars. And in this particular case, you look at the two and you see 99, but you still round it down to $2, even though the price is basically $3. So you're being kind of tricked there, so be careful when you see prices like that. That, again, is another strategy in which sellers try to get you to buy their products. Okay, let's move on now to the third and final paragraph for today. We will listen to it first.
Most of these pricing tricks are pretty simple, so it's easy to convince yourself that you're too sophisticated to fall for them. The reality, however, is that they do work. Fortunately, once you're aware of them, you can consciously choose to be a more deliberate shopper.
第三部分我们看到单字 sophisticated， 这个字是形容词，指见多识广的或是优雅时髦的。举例来说 ，Consumers today are better educated and more sophisticated than in the 50s。现在的消费者和50年代比起来，接受过更多的教育，也更见多识广。也可以说 Ben looked sophisticated in his tuxedo。Ben 穿着燕尾服，看起来很优雅时髦。另外，这个字也有精密的或是复杂的意思，像是 The boat is steered by a sophisticated navigation system。那艘船有一个精密复杂的导航系统操控。或者 This clock's mechanisms are highly sophisticated. They require an expert to repair. 这只表的机械装置相当精密，得要专家才会修。最后，我们看到形容词 deliberate， 指小心谨慎的或是故意的。举例来说 Harriet's deliberate and precise word choice made her writing incredibly effective. Harriet 谨慎精准的用字，让她的文字十分有力。或是 Ralph made a deliberate attempt to sabotage the project. Ralph 蓄意暗中破坏这个计划。另外，这个字也可以当作动词，当动词时念作 deliberate， 表示仔细考虑或是商议。我们可以说 Do you and your business partners need time to deliberate before signing the contract? 你和你的合作伙伴在签约前需要时间仔细考虑吗？或是 My bosses are deliberating a huge merger with a big company, so I haven't had a chance to report on my project. 我的主管们正在和一间大公司讨论一个极大的并购案，所以我还没有机会报告我的计划。
Most of these pricing tricks are pretty simple, so it's easy to convince yourself that you're too sophisticated to fall for them because most of us have heard of these strategies or have come across them and we are aware of them. So we think, I'm too sophisticated to fall for these tricks. To be sophisticated means to be knowledgeable or to have an understanding of how certain complicated things work. So we think we're sophisticated and we're not going to fall for, which means to be tricked by these strategies. But the reality is very different.
It is indeed. I like to think of myself as being sophisticated or smart, but gee, a lot of times when I go to a convenience store, they offer some sort of candy bar at the price of buy one and get the second one at 40% off. And I tend to fall for that. Gee, I could have 2 candy bars at a cheaper price there, even though it's better that I don't eat them at all because I'm supposed to be on a diet. So yes, indeed, most of us think we're really smart, but in actuality, we're not. And again, most of us think we're too sophisticated to fall for these tricks. I can't believe you fell for that. That's the oldest trick in the book. And the reality, of course, is that they do work. Fortunately, once you're aware of them, you can consciously choose to be a more deliberate shopper. So we've introduced these concepts to you now, even though you know about them already, but still you are consciously aware of them. So, of course, in psychology, we talk about the conscious mind, in which we know what we're thinking, and then there is the subconscious mind, which is what we're not aware of, but we still react to these things. So yes, if you're consciously aware of these things, then you'll make better choices when you buy things.
Right. If you're conscious of these strategies, then you can become more deliberate shoppers. So deliberate here means to be slow and careful in what you do. So if you're a deliberate shopper, it means that you are slow and careful in making your shopping choices. You can also have deliberate movements. If you don't want to fall or make a mistake while you're doing something, you can try to make your movements deliberate, which means your movements are slow and careful and well planned.
Indeed. So next time I go to a convenience store, I will be more careful. Okay, that brings us to the end of our discussion. Here comes our Chinese teacher.
各位同学大家好，我是 Hanny。 我们来看今天的文法重点。许多商家都会使用定价策略来鼓励消费者购买，像有些商家会限制每位消费者的商品购买数量，欺骗顾客，认为供应有限啊，或是这些商品需求量很大。那课文第一部分的最后一句就是用到 tricking shoppers into thinking that 来表达说欺骗顾客认为怎么样怎么样。那么 trick 在这边是当动词来表达哄骗欺骗， trick somebody into 再加上动词 ing 就是表达哄骗某人去做某事。那我们也可以用被动语态 somebody be tricked into 再加上动词 ing。例如 The man was tricked into selling his land at a low price。那个男子呢，那名男子他被哄骗低价卖土地。好，那有一个语义相近的用法则是 con somebody into 再加上动词 ing， 这也可以表达骗某人去做某事。那么被动语态就是 somebody be conned into 加上动词 ing。 好，那这个动词 con con 它就有诈欺的意思哦。动词三态是 con conned conned， 记得要重复字尾 n 再加上 ed。举例来说 Several people were conned into investing in his business。 好几个人被骗去投资他的生意。好，那么另外再补充一个用法是 trick somebody out of something， 这则是表达骗走某人的某个东西。例如 He tricked the old man out of his life savings。 他骗走那个老人的毕生积蓄。好，那我们看到课文第三部分第一句写到，这些定价手法大多都很简单，所以你很容易就说服自己说 You're too sophisticated to fall for them。 你见多识广，才不会对他们信以为真呢。那么 sophisticated 就是可以形容那种精于世故的啊，老练的，见多识广那种语义。而文中这边它用到 fall for。 好， fall for 这个用法其实是源自于鱼看到了鱼饵，它不自觉想去咬的动作。那么引申的意思会有两种。第一种呢，它可以表达迷恋，这时候受词是人。Fall for somebody 表示迷恋啊，爱上某人，对某人一见倾心。那么意思就会跟 fall in love with somebody 差不多。举例来说 Dexter fell for Emma the first time he met her。Dexter 第一次遇见 Emma 就被她迷住了。那有时候我们可能会听到说 fall for somebody like a ton of bricks， 意思是深深的爱上某人。Like a ton of bricks 字面意思是像一吨的砖块，那引申的意思是重重的、猛烈的或者是严厉的意思。好，那么第二个我们可以用 fall for 去表达被骗，这时候受词是事物。Fall for something 表示说对点点点信以为真、上当的意思，也就是用来表达被某事物所欺骗。例如 He's not dumb enough to fall for that old trick。 他才没有笨到会被那个老把戏耍，他不会上当的啦。好，那么以上是今天重点整理，我们回顾今天单字吧。
Psychological. Depression is both a physical and psychological condition. Bias. Humans have a number of biases which affect how we think and behave. Digit. Please enter the last 3 digits of your phone number. Evaluate. The insurance company sent someone to evaluate the damage caused by the fire. Sophisticated. Irene invites only the most sophisticated guests to her dinner parties. Deliberate. Some people make a deliberate choice not to have children.
Discussion starter starts now!
It's time now for our discussion starter, and here's the question. Which of the pricing strategies mentioned in the article do you think is the most effective and why?
I think the buy one get one free strategy is probably the most effective pricing strategy because if there is a product that I already know that I buy often, then chances are I will buy 2 of those products if they are cheaper because I know that I'm going to come back and buy it anyway.
Yeah, I fall for that too, but I think charm pricing is probably more of a good strategy because I still fall for it even though I know that it's basically $3. I still see that 2 there and I think, well, it's kind of closer to $2 than $3 even though I know it isn't, but I still fall for it and I buy that thing even though I don't need it. After I do that, I feel like a real chump. Well, everyone, today's article has come to an end, and I sure hope you enjoyed reading along with us. I am Roger.
I'm Helen.
See you next time.